Hello, welcome to Stitchmas. What is it? Day 12. We are at our last day for the 12 days of Stitchmas. I can't believe it. But anyway, I thought I would do a talking video on this. I have this little bag, this little drawstring bag, and you can get a pack of them at Michael's for $9.99, 12 of them for $9.99. And I thought this was cute. And I started to just make a bag, but time ran away from me. And I was going to do it on camera, and just a whole bunch of stuff happened. So I just bought these, and I thought I could use the other 11 for little gifts. But this is, speaking of gifts, this is a gift idea that I wanted to share with you for our 12th day. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be like a little tic-tac-toe bag. So I thought I would just chit-chat as we went along, because I don't really need to explain any of this. It's pretty much self-explanatory. But I'm making a little grid right now. I'm trying to figure out how I want it spaced. So probably somewhere right here in the middle. And this is a water erasable pen. So I will probably make it about, let's see, probably about from here to here. And do that again. And I'm just placing these little lines so I can know about how long I want my, just a guide to make my tic-tac-toe lines evenly spaced out. So I'm just using this ruler here, and it doesn't have to be exact. It's just, I like the homemade, not exact type thing, even though I'm using a ruler. I like it kind of homemade. And then I was wanting to put maybe some white holly berries or something, or some kind of garland down here. So we will just stitch as we go. And I don't need to draw that out because I like seeing what design I can come up with. So I'm going to start out using some brown thread because I'm wanting to do more of a pine branch. I'm thinking maybe a pine branch with some either white French knot berries, or make it look like snow. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. We'll see as we go along. But I am curious. Put under the comments if you got your Christmas shopping done. I have everybody complete except for the grandchildren, and those are the most important on my list, and I haven't even started shopping for them yet. So we just had my granddaughter's fourth birthday, and so a lot of the money went in that route. And I'm going to, instead of hiding a knot and starting with a knot offside like I usually do, this is going to be inside the bag, and you can turn this inside out and line it, but I'm not going to mess with it. You know what? I could do this in brown too, so it shows. Let's do that, and then we'll just start that way. And actually, I'll start here and then work with it. Work down the row. But yeah, I just wanted to, I need to get a handle on this because I don't want to wait till the last minute, because a lot of our shopping is on Amazon. Let's go this way. And I want everything to come in time. So it's so nice not having to fuss with stores anymore and get in lines and trying to find parking. And those were the days that I do not miss. And of course, some people still love doing that. I don't. I'm just going to do a little back stitch here. So stem stitch. So we figured we have a budget for each of the grandchildren, and so we're going to go kind of that route. But it's trying to find what they like. They're still at an age where it's pretty simple to buy. I mean, our oldest grandson is 6, and our youngest is almost 2. So we have 4 total and 1 on the way. So it's, they're still easy, but they're starting to get more particular when they turn about the age of 6. So anyway, I usually hate jumping like that because I don't want anything being caught inside. But what I may do is put like a piece of felt in there. I don't know. We'll see how that looks. We'll see. You know what I could have done? I think a chain stitch would have been prettier. Let's just see what that looks like. Of course, I'm doing this upside down now, but because I have to have my finger in here to feel where I am, because I don't want it to go through the other side. So, yeah, so we got to do that. And then, of course, Santa likes to come and fill stockings at my house as well. So, and that's always the most expensive. You know, am I out of camera here? I'm sorry. That's the most expensive are the stocking things, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll probably get them like what I used to get, what we used to get in our stockings. Of course, I'm aging myself here, but we used to get apples and oranges and walnuts, and I always hated that as a kid. And toothbrush and toothpaste. So, but I may get like maybe their favorite candy or, you know, let the mom and dad get the boring toothbrush and stuff. But they do love oranges. They like those little tiny cuties. So I may do something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's the stocking though is fun for me. And I, of course, I handmade all their stockings. So those are all cross-stitched. I'll have to show them one of these days in a short, probably, one of my short videos. And what else? I've got to, oh, we have another one coming up. And he or she is due July 13th, I think. So that'll be fun. You know what? I'm going to adjust this camera so you guys can see better because my face is this way, and so I have to turn it this way, and then you won't be able to see. So let's adjust a little bit better. There we go. Now we're talking. So I want them to find out what the sex of the baby is. Of course, they can do that early this time with blood tests nowadays. You know, you can find out stuff almost immediately. Not quite, but within what, 8 or 9 weeks. And so that way I can know what kind of stocking to do, because their stocking always has like a doll on it, or a train, or a truck, or whatever, you know, just depending if they're boy or girl. You know, it'd be really cute if I did each line in a different type stitching. So like this one, maybe let's make that a running stitch. That would be fun. This is just for play. This is why I like doing things kind of off the cuff and not planning it. I'd rather plan with y'all. We'll just do this together. Since our stitches aren't exactly, or our lines aren't exactly even, then we won't make our stitching even either, will we? So let's see what that looks like. It may be too sparse having a running stitch, and I don't really want my running stitches very even either. Like I said, I want this to look fun and homemade, almost like a sampler, like a little Christmas sampler tic-tac-toe bag. And what I'm thinking is for the tic-tac-toe pieces is using buttons. I thought that would be cute. And I also thought about stitching on the buttons where the buttonholes are, stitching some kind of motif on there, but we'll see as we go here. We'll see what we come up with. Okay, so that's a running stitch. We have our stem stitch, our chain stitch, our running stitch. What's next? I wish I could hear you guys. So let's go under here. Hopefully I'm not catching anything underneath. Let's feel. Nope, we're good. Because I want to do, like I said, I want to do the pine branch, and I want that to really pop. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just doing little French knots, and as you can see, they're not even, but that's okay. But I want to do a pine branch and then have all these little berries going through is what I'm thinking about. Of course, I may change my mind here in a little bit. And French knots are fun. Once you get the hang of it and once you get the tension right, they're fine. But boy, learning them was not fun. I learned how to do them years ago, and I was a little girl, so you can imagine a little girl trying to figure out how to do a French knot. They were all over the place, and I was getting frustrated, and my grandmother teaching me was so patient. But Ava, my little 4-year-old granddaughter, is really into stitching, and she's done. Y'all seen my video. If you've been with me here before, you've seen my video on her little stitching that she's learning how to do. And it's so cute. It's so cute. And I was going to get that frame to her for her room. But I got to find out what kind of frame her mom wants. Okay, these aren't the prettiest French knots, but that's okay. And they're not very pretty because usually on a French knot you go straight down, you know, but I'm having to kind of work on the top here, so because of the layer here, I could have opened this up, I guess, this bag. It would have been easier to stitch on, but I didn't know I was going to do this, so there you go. So I want to, as Ava gets older, I will teach her more and more fundamental stitching and more of the, because right now I'm tying a knot actually on the needle because she kept pulling the needle out of the, or the thread out of the needle. And so I have to tie a knot, and so I'm gonna have to teach her how to hold her needle without her thread pulling out of the eye of the needle, if that makes sense. Okay, we're running out of thread, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna make this. Let's do, you know what? We're not gonna make it. So let's end the thread and then start another one because we're gonna be using this brown thread next anyway. So let's just do that. This is gonna be like a probably little fun little gift for somebody, maybe a teenager or something. They're not gonna really care too much about the even or uneven stitches, I'm sure. It'd just be something fun. This would be a cute stocking stuffer too, y'all. Or a little hostess gift. This would make a cute hostess gift, especially for somebody who likes to sew. And this would be so cute, like on a coffee table, like a little coffee table trinket or something, you know. Wouldn't that be cute? This little bag sitting in a little dish or something. So I thought that would be cute. And Mila is not making her appearance today. I don't know where she is. Outside catching mice, probably. She is my mouser. She loves to catch all sorts of critters and bring them to my door. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, but no thank you. Okay, so for these, what I'm going to do real quick before we go and do anything else, I'm going to tack these down because they're sitting up. I wasn't able to pull them like I usually like to get them kind of tight, so they're kind of sticking up, and that's bothering me. So let's just tack them down with a little tack stitch here, and this one's kind of raised, and that way they don't get pulled out, if that makes sense. See that little loop there? I don't want it to get pulled, especially if I don't know who this is going to. But I thought this would be a fun way to show different stitches too. And of course yours, you know, you may want all chain stitches. Like if I do another one, I'll probably do all chain stitches, but I was kind of curious what this little hashtag looking grid would look like with all the lines doing something differently. Or looking different. I can't talk and sew at the same time. This is a challenge for me. Okay, so I don't think those others need to be tacked down, so I got the majority of them tacked. And now the tricky part is, let's get to where I want to be without grabbing the back like I just did. Okay. Okay. And really, what you may want to do is like slide a piece of cardboard under here so you're not having your fingers under there. But I'm just, like I said, I'm just going with it. So, and what I usually will do, that's kind of cute, isn't it? Just different stitches, just something fun. What I usually do is on the back, I'll put my signature there. I'll sew my signature. And I always have an L and like a little house, which represents cottage, Lambert Cottage. So I'll do that at the end, but I'll do that off camera. So for my stem, I'm just going to do like a little, probably well, I'm doing a back stitch, but I'm going to do a split back stitch because that gives you a cleaner finish per se. And I'm just going to kind of wind this little pine branch around. Let's see. So let me finish that and I will get right back with you. Well, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. Oh well. I will I was saying through the magic of television, you know, it kind of looks like a smiley face, but I didn't want to go up in here where the buttons are going to sit. So I'm just kind of doing this, just doing like a really simple, instead of a realistic branch, just do some fun little branch. And I was saying on video, this would be a cute hostess gift, especially if you're going somewhere for the holidays, for like a game night or whatever. This would be so cute to take to a hostess, or even just to have for him or her a little something. Keep it with you in case somebody gives you something, and instead of saying, well, I don't have anything for you, which is always the case for me because I've got grandbabies on my mind, then you will have something. So this year I'm trying to stitch all of the adults a little something, except for the men. You know, I'm doing more or less the couples something together. But this would be such a cute individual gift for somebody, I think. Like, if I was a hostess for a party and I got something like this, I would absolutely love it. Because, you know, time and thought went into it, and hand stitching is always something very, very special to me. I love little handmade things. So, but anyway, that's basically what I was saying in a nutshell that I was thinking I was recording. Okay, so we got our little pine branch here, and I could go through to the other side, but I won't, to do my signature. That's what well, let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have what looks like a baseball more than a pine branch here without the red stitches, but you guys get the idea. And then I'm just going to make some little white berries here, and that way this doesn't have to be just for Christmas. It can be for winter or really any time of year. You know, pine trees obviously live all year, although we usually put them out during the holidays, and it's more of a winter type tree, but this could go out all the time, more of an evergreen type thing. So I'm just going to do some of these guys. Do this, get that in there, and so let me add a few more berries and I'll be back. Okay, I got the stitching done, although it still looks like a baseball, but you get the idea. And then I got my little Lambert Cottage stitched on the back, and then inside is where you put the game pieces. So I figured I would do 3 colors. I know Tic-Tac-Toe is 2 colors, but that way somebody can decide what color they want to go with. And then you just simply, if I get on camera, play Tic-Tac-Toe. And I will play here as I'm playing myself, but you get the idea. There's another red. And seeing that way you have enough to play. And I do about five of each color. So these I have 5 red-ish type colors, and 5 whites, and 5 greens. But that way you have basically what you need. That's it. Pretty cute, isn't it? And then you just put them all in here. And like I said, you can do whatever colors. I always like to have 3 or 4 colors so the people can have their choice. And then I'll get rid of this green with water later, but I wanted to finish this up and show you what it looked like. And then you just pull it tight, and there's your little gift. Isn't that cute? Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks. Bye-bye.